Hi, is Lamo.Alicum. Welcome back to our channel, Digital Future AI School. Kindly subscribe our channel, like and share with friends. And this is the episode 26 of book AI Agent Makers, written by Mr. Zahir Ahmad Mir. All right, so with that, let's dive in. Today we are taking on something massive. It's really the heart of the book in many ways. We're looking at Appendix P.8, the complete mega prompt index.
And when you say massive, you're not kidding. We're talking about over 200 advanced prompts.
Exactly. 200 prompts across 14 different professional domains. And this isn't just, a list. We're treating this as a blueprint, a kind of map for the future of professional AI agents.
That's the perfect way to describe it, a blueprint. Because what's so fascinating here isn't just the number of prompts, it's the structure, the professional grade structuring.
What do you mean by that exactly?
Well, most people think of AI prompts as, write me a poem or summarize this article. These are different. These are engineered tools. They're built for very specific, often high-stakes professional outcomes.
Like drafting a legal document or planning a medical procedure.
Precisely. We're moving way beyond general chat. This is about creating specialized, callable AI assistants. The index itself is organized by domain. It's cross-referenced. The whole thing is built for workflow efficiency.
So our mission today is to unpack that. We want to show you, our listeners, which industries are really seeing this deep, granular level of AI integration, and more importantly, what it means when these complex tasks start getting automated.
Yeah, it shows the whole state of the art isn't just about making the language models smarter. It's about how we structure our requests to them. It's about the engineering of the prompt.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's start with a domain where precision and accountability are everything. The legal and judicial sector, that's P8.1 in the index.
Right, and it's a huge section. 30 prompts dedicated just to law. That alone tells you something about the complexity and, frankly, the value that AI is expected to bring here.
So what's the big picture in this legal section? Is it just about, finding documents faster?
Oh, not at all. It's so much more than that. The real focus seems to be on what you could call litigation complexity. It's about automating the heavy-duty analytical work.
The synthesis.
Exactly, the synthesis. Legal work is just drowning in documents, depositions, evidence, precedent cases. A human team can spend weeks just trying to connect the dots to spot a tiny contradiction. These prompts are designed to automate that analysis.
So like the prompting here called Identify Contradictions in Evidence, that sounds powerful.
It's incredibly powerful. And think about what that actually means. It's not a simple keyword search. The agent has to ingest maybe thousands of pages of text from different sources, affidavits, emails, testimony.
All from different times, different people.
Right. And then it has to understand the context and flag a factual discrepancy. Something like, witness A said the meeting was on Tuesday, but this email from witness B from 6 months later says it was on a Wednesday. Finding that manually is like finding a needle in a haystack.
And it bypasses that grueling human process of just endless cross-referencing.
It does, and the legal depth here is it's genuinely impressive. Take another one, ratio decidendi extraction.
Okay, you have to break that one down for us.
So the ratio decidendi, it's a Latin term, but it's basically the core legal principle, the binding rule that a judge's decision is based on. In any long judgment, there's a lot of commentary, but only one little piece is the actual binding rule.
And finding that is a key skill for a lawyer.
A huge skill. It's usually a job for a sharp junior associate. To read a 50-page judgment and pull out that one crucial sentence or paragraph, this prompt automates that extraction, and once you have it,
then you can use another prompt, like the precedent mapping one, to see how that rule has been applied in other cases.
You're one step ahead of me. Exactly. You can map its influence across jurisdictions over time. It automates the absolute foundational work of building a legal argument.
So it's like a massive accelerator for legal strategy. But it also seems to handle the more mundane stuff. The index list prompts for drafting documents, petition draft, legal notice draft, criminal complaint draft.
And that's just as important in its own way. The value there is consistency and compliance.
Right, mitigating risk.
Absolutely. In law, a poorly formatted document can get a case thrown out. If the AI provides a perfectly structured, compliant template based on all the correct rules, well, the human lawyer can then focus their brainpower on the actual arguments, the contentious points, not the boilerplate.
That makes sense. But let's go back to the high-level strategy stuff. I'm seeing prompts in here like case strategy planner and appeal roadmap.
Yeah, and don't miss the party relationship diagram.
A diagram.
Yeah.
So the AI isn't just spitting out text.
No, and that's a really important point. This prompt is asking the agent to perform network analysis, to ingest all the communications, all the interactions between everyone in a case, defendants, witnesses, companies, and then to visualize their relationships.
To show who's allied with whom, where the conflicts are.
Precisely. It's a strategic map. It helps the legal team see the whole battlefield, so to speak, to anticipate weaknesses in the other side's case or find unexpected connections.
Okay, but this brings up a big question for me. A skepticism, really.
Yeah.
Law is so much about human nuance, about intent. And I'm looking at prompts here like statutory interpretation, and this one is the real kicker. Malified identification.
Bad faith.
Right? Bad faith. How can an AI possibly identify bad faith? That requires understanding human intention from, circumstantial evidence. Doesn't that risk creating some kind of algorithmic bias against people?
That is the million-dollar question.
Oh.
And it's why these are agents for a professional, not replacements. The AI isn't the judge and jury.
But so what is it doing then?
It's acting as an analytical consultant. For malified identification, it would be tasked to find patterns that are indicative of bad faith. Things like suspiciously timed actions, contradictory statements, clauses in contracts that deviate wildly from the norm. It surfaces the evidence.
It finds the red flags.
It finds the red flags. It presents them to the human lawyer and says, based on a million other cases, these 5 things look unusual, you should investigate them. The human makes the final judgment call about intent, but they're not starting from scratch. They have a data-driven starting point.
Okay, that distinction is crucial. An analytical consultant, not a decision maker. That's a huge amount of detail just for the legal field. So let's pivot from the courtroom to the clinic. Let's look at the health and medical prompts in P.8.4. There are 20 of them here, and the focus seems very different.
It's very different and intentionally so. The key theme here is what you might call explainer agents. Their entire purpose is to improve communication and administration, not to make medical decisions.
And that's made really clear with the very first prompt listed, right? Symptom explanation, non-diagnostic. The brackets there are doing a lot of work.
A huge amount of work. It's a critical guardrail. The prompt structure itself forbids the AI from diagnosing. Its job is to explain, to educate, to empower the patient. It's filling a gap that, overworked doctors often just don't have the time to fill.
The core goal seems to be transparency and clarity. I'm seeing prompts like medical report explainer, lab report breakdown, prescription translation.
And think about how valuable that is. Anyone who's ever gotten a lab report back knows it's just a wall of acronyms and numbers. It's stressful. An agent that can instantly translate that into plain English, this number is a bit high, which means you should discuss X with your doctor, is a massive relief.
It's about empowering the patient.
Completely. It bridges that huge information gap between the medical expert and the layperson. You go from being a passive, confused recipient of data to an active, informed participant in your own healthcare.
And that empowerment feeds right into the support and safety prompts, things like the red flag identifier or the doctor questions generator.
The red flag identifier is basically a triage tool. If you're reading a long report, the agent can be instructed to highlight any terms or results that are considered critical and require immediate human attention. It prevents the important stuff from getting lost in the noise.
And the doctor questions generator. I can see how useful that is. It helps you prepare for that tentative appointment so you don't walk out and immediately remember the 5 things you forgot to ask.
Right. It makes that limited face-to-face time so much more efficient. So when you look at these 50 prompts together, across both law and medicine, what's the big theme?
It feels like it's about standardizing expertise, or at least standardizing access to complex analysis.
I think that's it. It's about standardizing specialized accuracy. These fields demand the highest level of contextual accuracy, and this index shows how prompt engineering, probably with things like RAG, which we'll get to, how that's making AI not just a creative tool, but a reliable, verifiable, professional tool. It's a sign of real maturation.
Okay, so from these high-stakes professional fields, let's look at the world of enterprise. The index dedicates a huge amount of space to this.
It does. If we connect this to the bigger picture, a massive chunk of these prompts are all about the life cycle of a business, from the very first spark of an idea all the way to the daily grind of operations.
We're talking about startup and business, P.8.3, which has 40 prompts,
Mhm.
40, and then management, HR, and organizational, P8.9, with another 20.
Exactly. And if you look at that startup section, you can literally trace the entire entrepreneurial journey right there in the prompt names. It's like an automated business accelerator program.
You can really see the progression. It starts right at the beginning with the startup idea validator.
Which is such a critical first step, a sanity check before you quit your job and pour your life savings into something.
Then it moves to the blueprint stage,
Uh-huh.
the business plan generator, and then to execution with the MVP planning prompt, MVP being the minimum viable product.
Right. These are the big, intimidating, blank page problems that stop so many new ventures before they even start. The AI is being used to overcome that initial analysis paralysis.
But it doesn't stop there. It gets into what you'd normally pay a high-priced consultant for. I'm talking about the SWOT analysis, the market entry strategy, the risk analysis prompts.
This is where it gets really interesting, and it brings up a good question. When an AI does a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, how do you trust its assessment of the weaknesses and threats? Isn't it biased towards the data it can easily find online?
Yeah, which is usually positive marketing material.
Exactly. And this is where the human-AI partnership becomes clear. The AI is brilliant at the O&T opportunities and threats. It can scrape market data, analyze competitor reports, and synthesize external trends far better than a human.
But for the internal stuff,
For the internal stuff, the S&W, strengths and weaknesses, you need the human. The AI doesn't know about your company's toxic culture or that one brilliant engineer who holds everything together. The prompt's value is that it forces the human to think about those weaknesses systematically, while the AI does the heavy lifting on the market research.
so the AI provides the external context, and the human provides the internal honesty.
That's a perfect way to put it. Then, from that high-level strategy, the index dives right into customer acquisition. The whole marketing funnel is automated.
I'm seeing everything here. Designing the marketing funnel itself, creating the customer persona, writing the email automation sequence, generating the landing page copy.
It's the full stack. This is fundamental to any modern business that wants to scale. These agents aren't just writing one-off emails, they're building an entire system, a system designed to find a specific customer persona and then guide them through a journey with every communication being consistent and automated.
And it all has to be measured, which leads to the analytics prompts.
Yes, strategy without measurement is just hope. And we see the prompts for that. KPI tracker setup, competition analysis, sales forecast prompt.
So you're not just making a plan, you're making a measurable plan.
Precisely. The KPI tracker prompt helps you define what success even looks like. Then, if the competition analysis agent flags that a new competitor just entered your market, you can immediately run the sales forecast prompt to model 10 different scenarios. You can adapt your strategy in hours, not weeks.
Okay, let's shift from the external market to the internal machinery of a company. That's the management, HR, and organizational section, P8.9.
Right. This is all about the people and the processes, and this is where AI is stepping into some really sensitive areas.
You mean things like employee performance review and conflict resolution guidance.
Exactly. These are tasks that are traditionally so subjective, so stressful, and frankly, so inconsistent from one manner to another.
So what's the AI's role here? To be a neutral third party?
Essentially, yes. It acts as a framework provider. For a performance review, it can be prompted to only consider objective, data-driven metrics and historical performance, removing the manager's personal bias or mood from the equation. For conflict resolution, it provides guidance that is strictly based on company policy and best practices, which minimizes legal risk.
And there's even a leadership coaching prompt. That's fascinating. The AI as a coach for managers.
Yeah, imagine feeding an agent 360-degree feedback data on a manager. The agent could then identify specific skill gaps, maybe they're not great at giving feedback, and then generate personalized coaching exercises or communication frameworks for them to practice. It's objective, private, on-demand coaching.
Then there's a big focus on what you call operational consistency. Prompts like SOP creator, standard operating procedure, and internal process manual.
This is the bedrock of scaling any business. You have to move from ad hoc processes to formalized, repeatable workflows. The SOP creator is a classic example of that.
And the meeting minutes generator seems simple, but I suspect it's more than just transcription.
Much more. A good prank for this would instruct the agent to ignore all the conversational filler and output only 3 things: decisions made, action items assigned, and responsible parties. It filters the noise and creates an instant accountability document.
Finally, in this section, we see project management discipline, the big 3. risk register, stakeholder communication plan, and escalation matrix.
These are the documents that often separate successful projects from failed ones. And by having dedicated prompts for them, the AI is essentially acting as a governance watchdog. It forces the project manager to think through these critical layers up front.
It's forcing the discipline.
Exactly. The human's job shifts from filling out tedious templates to actually thinking about the risks and managing the people involved.
So we've gone from the courtroom to the boardroom. Now let's get into what might be the most interesting area for many of our listeners: the digital and creative frontier.
Right, this is where AI interacts most directly with how we learn and how we create. We're talking about education, content, and this really important concept of multimodal AI.
Let's start with education and digital school prompts, P8.2. There are 30 items here, and they seem to tackle the two biggest problems in education.
Which are teacher time and personalized attention. And this section shows how AI can give you a massive boost in both.
Okay, let's look at the teacher side first. Teacher automation. We see prompts like lesson plan generator, 20 MCQs generator for quizzes, and curriculum designer.
Think about the time savings there. A teacher can spend an entire Sunday creating lesson plans and quiz questions. With these prompts, that work can be done, or at least 80% of it, in minutes.
And that reclaimed time is the key.
It's the whole game. That's time the teacher can now spend actually teaching, mentoring, or giving one-on-one help instead of doing administrative grunt work. The curriculum designer is especially powerful. It implies the agent can map out an entire semester's worth of learning objectives, materials, and assessments.
But then there's the other side of the coin: personalized learning. This is the holy grail of modern education, right? And we see prompts for it: personalized learning plans, student mentor prompt, exam strategy planner.
This is the complete opposite of the one-size-fits-all model. A personalized learning plan agent could, for example, analyze a student's test scores, identify their specific knowledge gaps, and then generate a custom study plan just for them.
Tailored to their learning style, even.
Potentially, yes. Suggesting video resources if they're a visual learner or practice problems if they learn by doing. And the student mentor prompt is fascinating. It's designed to be a supportive, conversational guide that can offer encouragement or explain a concept in 5 different ways until the student gets it, without any of the impatience a human might show.
The index even looks at the institutional level, with prompts like AI classroom policy draft and digital school designer.
Which is so forward-thinking, because as AI becomes common, schools are going to need clear rules: what's allowed, what's considered cheating. This prompt helps administrators create that essential governance framework.
Okay, let's move from learning to creating. P816, content creation and media prompts. Another huge section with 30 items.
And it's so well-structured. It's broken down by the actual workflows of a modern creator. YouTube, podcasts, writing, visuals. It understands how content is actually made today.
Well, since we're on a podcast, let's look at the podcast tools. We see podcast script, audio storytelling prompt, and interview question guide.
That last one is so important. A good interview is all about the questions. And AI can help you move beyond the generic "what's your story?" and generate deeply insightful questions based on the guest's prior work.
And the audio storytelling prompt, that sounds complex. It's not just writing, it's writing for the ear.
Exactly. It's about narrative structure, pacing, using language to create mental images, building tension, all without any visuals. That's a very specific, sophisticated kind of writing that the AI is being prompted to produce.
Then there's a whole suite of advanced writing tools. We're talking editor proofreader, plot builder, dialogue writer, and even book chapter generator.
This positions the AI as a true creative collaborator. The plot builder could be a lifesaver for a novelist with writer's block. And the dialogue writer prompt tackles what is often the hardest part of fiction: making characters sound distinct and authentic.
And it's not just text. The index explicitly includes visual integration. Things like image prompt generator for models like Midjourney, a cinematic shot list for filmmakers.
And even a real TikTok script creator. It's hyper-specific to modern platforms.
So the cinematic shot list prompt, for example, it lowers the barrier to entry, right?
Massively. You don't need to have gone to film school. You can describe your scene in plain English, and the agent will give you a professional shot, list-wide shot, close-up on the character's reaction, tracking shot as they walk away. It democratizes the language of professional production.
Okay, this leads us perfectly into the last part of this section. Multimodal prompts, P8.5. First, we need to clearly define what multimodal even means.
Right. Simply put, multimodal means the AI can understand and work with more than just text. It can process images, audio, and video as inputs.
Because in the real world, information is messy. It's not always a neat text file.
Never. You get a scanned PDF, a photo of a whiteboard, an audio recording of a meeting. A multimodal agent can take all of that in and synthesize it.
And the examples here make that really clear. Image analysis prompts or diagram explanation. The AI is literally looking at a picture and telling you what it means.
Exactly. Or look at the audio tools. Audio notes processor or meeting summary agent. It's not just transcribing the words, it's listening, understanding, and then structuring the output to highlight decisions and action items.
Same for video with video keyframe extraction or lecture notes prompt. It can watch a 2-hour lecture and pull out the 5 key slides and the main arguments for you.
And the end goal here is total integration. You see that with the most advanced prompts. Multimodal dashboard builder, vision agent prompt. These are about creating agents that can take a chaotic stream of mixed media data and turn it into a single, cohesive, actionable analysis for a human to review.
Okay, this is the part I've really been waiting to get to. The engine room. The technical core that makes everything else we've talked about actually work.
Yes, this is absolutely the most critical part of the index. If you want to understand not just what AI agents can do, but how they do it reliably, you have to look at RAG in AI engineering and mega agent building.
Let's start with a RAG. In section P.8.8, we've mentioned it a couple of times. It stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. Why is this concept so fundamental for professional AI?
Okay, so a standard large language model, like a GPT, has what's called parametric knowledge. It knows what it was taught during its training, and that knowledge is frozen in time.
So it doesn't know about a new law that was passed yesterday.
Exactly. Our RAG fixes that. It gives the agent non-parametric knowledge. Before answering a question, a RAG-enabled agent is prompted to first go and search an external, up-to-date knowledge base, like a legal database or a collection of internal company documents.
It retrieves the relevant current facts first.
It retrieves the facts first, and then it generates the answer based only on the evidence it just found. This is a game changer. It means the answers are not just accurate, they are current, and crucially, they are citable. You can ask the AI, where did you get that information? And it can point to the specific document.
That concept of citability,
Yeah,
that's everything in a professional context.
it is. And the index gives us the prompts for building this infrastructure. Things like chunking strategy designer, metadata tagging system, vector DB comparison. These sound super technical, but they're critical.
Break down chunking for us. What does that mean?
So when you feed the AI your external documents, you have to break them up into smaller pieces or chunks. The chunking strategy designer prompt helps you decide the best way to do that. If your chunks are too big, the AI gets confused by irrelevant information. If they're too small, it loses the context. Getting the chunking right is essential for good retrieval.
And the vector DB comparison is about choosing where to store all those chunks.
Precisely. It's a specialized database for this kind of AI work. This prompt helps a developer choose the right one for their needs. Do you need lightning-fast responses for a customer service bot, or do you need the most comprehensive search possible for a legal research tool? They require different databases.
And this all ties into safety and reliability. I'm looking at the prompt's hallucination prevention protocol and evidence-based output enforcer. Is it really possible to prevent hallucinations?
It's more like aggressive mitigation. The prevention protocol is a set of instructions that basically tells the agent, you must prioritize the facts you retrieve from the database. If you can't find an answer there, say so. Do not guess.
And the enforcer prompt is the follow-through.
It is. It makes it mandatory. It forces the agent to include a citation for every single claim it makes in its final output. It creates an audit trail. It builds trust.
Okay, so that's the foundation. That leads us to the grand finale of the technical section. P.8.1.12, Mega Agent Building. 20 prompts that are the essence of the book's title.
This is it. This is the blueprint for creating autonomous AI agents. We're shifting from just getting a single answer to building a complete digital worker that can perform complex multi-step tasks on its own.
And that starts, according to the index, with identity. Agent Persona Builder and Agent Identity Generator. Why start with persona?
Because the persona defines everything else. It sets the agent's tone, its boundaries, its goals. An agent designed to draft legal notices needs a persona that is formal, precise, and cautious. An agent for a startup social media needs a persona that is witty and informal. The persona is the core behavioral mandate.
From there, we get into the internal mechanics. I'm seeing Agent Workflow Designer, Agent Memory Blueprint, and JSON Output Designer.
The Workflow Designer is probably the most important prompt in this whole section. A mega agent doesn't just do one thing. It might have a workflow that goes. Step 1, receive user query. Step 2, search the RAG database. Step 3, analyze the retrieved documents. Step 4, draft a summary. Step 5, format the output. This prompt structures that entire chain of actions.
And the agent memory blueprint allows it to learn over time.
Yes, so it doesn't start from zero with every interaction. It can remember past conversations, user preferences, and context. It makes the interaction feel continuous and intelligent.
And what about the JSON output designer? Why is that so important?
Because it means the agent's output isn't just text for a human to read. JSON is a structured data format. It means the agent's output can be fed directly into another piece of software, a CRM, a project management tool, a database. It makes the agent a true integrated part of a larger digital ecosystem.
Which all builds to what you could call the ultimate prompt in this entire index, the full agent auto-build prompt.
It really is the pinnacle. The name implies that you could write one single incredibly detailed master prompt, and it would trigger the creation of an entire fully functional agent, defining its persona, building its workflow, setting up its RAG system, everything. It's the concept of using AI to build AI. It collapses weeks of engineering work into a single command.
So we've seen the high-stakes industries, and we've looked under the hood at the technical core. What does all this mean for us, for society, for our own lives?
Right, this last section of the index really brings it home. It shows the scope of this vision, stretching from the highest levels of government all the way down to our personal habits and ethics.
Let's start with government policy and civic prompts. P.8.7. It's a smaller section, just 10 prompts, but they seem pretty impactful. The theme is civic automation.
The goal is clearly to reduce the friction between citizens and bureaucracy. We see prompts like citizen service automation script and complaint redressal workflow. These are designed to make government services more responsive, consistent, and transparent.
And it also gets into high-level policy creation, with prompts for a public policy draft or an interdepartmental coordination plan.
Yes, and that's about giving public administrators a powerful tool for synthesis. To draft good policy, you need to pull from legal documents, economic data, social research. An AI agent can create a well-structured first draft of that policy based on all the available data, dramatically speeding up the process.
Okay, now let's get personal. P.8.7, personal development prompts. This is a big one, 20 prompts, and it basically positions the AI as a life coach.
It does, and it really shows that the utility of these agents goes far beyond just our jobs. This is about structured self-improvement. It provides the framework for achieving personal goals, which is something many people struggle with.
You can see that structure in the prompts. 5-year life plan, habit builder, 21 days, daily planner, weekly review.
That habit builder prompt is a perfect example. It's not just remind me to go to the gym. A well-designed prompt would incorporate behavioral science. It would ask you to identify your potential obstacles. It would help you schedule. It would provide tailored motivational messages. It's a system for change.
And it even gets into soft skills, the mental and emotional tools, prompts like emotional intelligence coach or stress management.
And this is about using the AI for structured reflection. The emotional intelligence coach could walk you through a difficult conversation you had, help you identify your emotional triggers in a non-judgmental way, and let you practice alternative responses in a safe environment.
Finally, we get to a very unique section, spiritual, ethical, and Islamic prompts, P.8.11. This really highlights the potential for deep customization.
It does, and it's important to be clear about the role of the AI here. These prompts are designed as tools for reflection, for learning, for study within a specific ethical framework. They are not designed to be a source of authority.
We see that in the examples. Quranic reflection prompt, Hadith explanation, Islamic storytelling prompt.
Exactly. The AI is being prompted to synthesize and explain existing verifiable texts, to provide context. Or take the ethical dilemma analysis prompt. It's a tool for critical thinking, prompting the user to apply established ethical principles to a modern-day scenario.
And there are also practical community tools, like the Friday Khutbah outline.
Which is a great example of utility. It can help a community leader or a speaker generate a well-structured, topically relevant, and textually sound outline for a sermon. This frees up their time to focus on the delivery and connecting with their audience. The inclusion of this entire domain shows a vision of AI that is a comprehensive assistant for nearly every aspect of human life.
So after this marathon journey through all 14 domains, let's try to sum this up. We started in the high-stakes legal world with things like ratio deuce identity extraction. We moved through the entire corporate lifecycle into education and content creation, and then deep into the technical core with RAG and that incredible full-agent auto-build prompt.
What this index really is, when you step back, is a navigation map. It's a map of the modern professional world with a pre-built AI agent blueprint for almost every conceivable task. It's a stunning validation of the entire AI agent maker's concept.
And I think for you, for anyone listening, the big takeaway is this. The cutting edge of AI is no longer about just writing clever one-off prompts. It's about understanding and deploying these structured, categorized, workflow-specific tools. Your value is shifting from doing the task to knowing which agent to deploy and how to validate its output.
It really is. This master index shows us that the AI agent economy, at least in blueprint form, is here. It's fully mapped out.
Yeah.
And that leaves us with a pretty profound question to think about.
What's that?
If we accept that 200 of these complex professional tasks can now be templated, from creating a legal evidence table to designing a technical vector DB comparison, at what specific point does human expertise stop being about performing the task itself and start becoming exclusively about validating the AI's work? And if that's the case, where does our critical judgment, our human intuition, remain truly, absolutely irreplaceable in this new automated workflow?
That is the ultimate question, isn't it? Something for all of us to think about. Thank you for diving deep with us today. As you reflect on this, consider which of these domains surprised you the most. Which one felt most ripe for this kind of change? Until next time, keep learning and stay sharp.